Unit 2, our very first PowerPoint in our brand new unit on mental health. Just like we talked about the last few days, we're going to talk about sleep. Sleep is very important to mental health. I'm going to show you the stages of sleep, also refer to some of those disorders and illnesses of people having trouble sleeping. So, sleep. Are you getting enough rest? We'll find out. What's the reason that you need sleep? Well, after a long day of getting all this information, all this news, all this stimuli, your brain needs to sort everything out. So, when you sleep, that's when actually learning and the storage of memories are occurring. Also, your body needs to heal itself. When body tissues break down, this is when they get a chance to heal. For example, if you are working out, this is the opportunity for your body to heal itself, to grow and get stronger while you are sleeping. Also, good sleep helps your immune system to function properly so you can fight off illnesses and diseases. As well as good sleep can help you prevent certain diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, and a slew of other diseases. Look at that cute little baby sleeping in the Jordans. Very nice. What happens first? We're going to talk about the stages of sleeping. So, what happens right in the beginning, the very preliminary stages? Well, your muscles are going to relax. When your eyes are closed, they're going to be rolling back and forth very slowly. You might have these jerks, myoclonic jerks, which may occur awakening the individual, almost like an epileptic spasm. You probably have dealt with this before if you fell asleep and all of a sudden you just shake yourself awake. This can occur because you aren't fully relaxed or there's some type of stimuli that has just abruptly woken you up. This can last about 10 minutes, and it should only last about 10 minutes unless you're troubled, unless something's bad's going on, or unless you're not feeling well. Because when you're in this stage, you should be ready to go to sleep. So it should only last about 10 minutes before you actually do get into the stages of sleep. So the first stage, which is non-rapid eye movement, or NREM, about 5% of the sleep is when your heart rate is slowing down and your muscles become more and more relaxed. The next stage is stage 2, which is also non-rapid eye movement. 50% of your sleep you are in this stage, in stage 2. This is when your brain waves start firing off in very quick bursts. Your eyes are continuing to slowly rolling from side to side. Your eyes are closed. Okay, this is when you're in that light sleep where modest sound or modest interruptions will wake you up. But you are not conscious during this time. So you are starting to actually be in a state of unconsciousness. Then stage 3, another non-rapid eye movement stage. Now, large and slow brain waves are starting to fire. Very slow, very large, elongated brain waves. This will take a much louder noise or much larger disruption to awaken the sleeper. Your breathing starts to slow down and it becomes even. You start pattern breathing. Your heart rate and temperature start declining. Your heart rate starts slowing down. Your body temperature starts cooling itself. And this lasts about 10 minutes, which equals, when all the cycles are over, about 10% of your sleep. Then stage 4, which is also non-rapid eye movement, but it's also called delta sleep. Now this can last about 10 minutes in the cycle, and it also takes up about 10% of your sleep. This is when you're in the deepest level of non-rapid eye movement sleep. Your blood pressure, your temperature are at its lowest points. These are still usually dreamless, although slight dreams can occur in any stage. This part of delta sleep actually gets less and less lengthy, so it shortens as a person gets older. This is also the stage where sleepwalking can occur. And this is when your growth hormone is secreted, and this is the reason why babies and young people need so much sleep, is because they need to get into this stage so they can grow and repair and get bigger and get stronger. And especially when you're growing as adolescents, to be able to repair those muscles and grow those muscles and bones and your body to get bigger and stronger into adulthood. Then we go into the rapid eye movement stage, the dream stage, which is about 25% of the total sleep. This is when your eyes are darting really, really fast back and forth, almost like you are closing your eyes and you're just putting them side to side, as if you're watching an internal movie. This is, in fact, the dream. If you are awakened during REM sleep, people can usually report their dreams. This is why sometimes you don't remember your dreams, because when you are going through the different stages of sleep, you're not usually getting woken up during your REM cycle. So it's sometimes difficult to remember dreams, and you dream about 4 to 5 times in one night. So that's why it's also very difficult to remember your dreams. What's going on during this stage? Well, the acid in your stomach is rising, you have a little bit of erratic breathing, and you have some secretions of some certain hormones. Your muscles are basically paralyzed at this point. So you cannot move, and you do not move usually during this time. Also, psychological repair is going on in your brain. Now, usually what happens throughout these cycles is they will start repeating themselves and going over and over again. So you will spend at least in one night's sleep from 7 to 9 hours. You can spend either 4 or 5 trips through all these stages, with that dream stage getting longer and longer and the previous stage getting shorter. So you're going to dream about once every hour and a half, with that first dream occurring about an hour after you have begun sleeping. So what happens when we lose REM sleep? Well, this is when we start getting changes and different disorders and different things that are going wrong in the body. So loss of REM sleep in an adult can cause personality changes, anxiety, suspicion, all these things that we deal with when we're not getting good enough sleep and we're not feeling like ourselves. 50% of a baby's night's sleep is actually in REM sleep, causing brain pathways to develop and mature. So when a baby is abnormally developing, they can be diagnosed with the way that they're actually getting REM sleep or not getting to REM sleep, to back to the other stages. So a lot of times with maturation and with growth, they can pinpoint that sleep is probably one of the problems if they are not growing or developing the correct way. These are some things we pointed out and talked about in our sleep article, obstructive sleep apnea, where normal breathing patterns are interrupted and the air doesn't, and you don't get enough oxygen, and then you abruptly wake up, disturbing the sleep cycle. Ways that you can help sleep apnea. Well, sometimes most people with sleep apnea are overweight. So losing weight could be a good way. Quit smoking, avoiding alcohol, sleeping pills, or caffeine, and heavy meals within 2 hours of sleep, because these can all cause airways to be blocked. Sleep on your side with your head propped up, or open the nasal passages using nasal strips, using different devices to open up the nasal strips. Also, as you can see, this lady, she's actually using a CPAP machine. It's a medical treatment, continuous positive airflow pressure. So it's actually pushing air through the nose and mouth, so they can actually provide a constant stream of air, which keeps the breathing passages open so they do not close and the person does not have to actually gasp for air. Narcolepsy, we touched on it. It's a chronic sleep disorder. You can get excessive daytime sleepiness. There are bouts of falling asleep, but there are also, the most common thing is extreme fatigue during the daytime, especially at places where they should not be fatigued and during times where they should not be fatigued. And then insomnia, we always talked about referring to difficulties falling asleep or staying asleep. This can be caused by stress or different physical problems. All should be checked out by a medical professional. When we're talking about adolescence, 20 to 25% of your total sleep is in REM sleep. So your circadian rhythm is actually different from an adult, especially going through puberty. So naturally, teens always want to sleep later in the day and stay awake later at night more than adults. So that bedtime that your parents or guardians have given you probably doesn't work for you, because your body's acting a little bit differently. So you almost have an argument for staying up late and waking up later throughout the day because of puberty. So it's good for something. So what happens to stage 4 non-REM as a person ages? Well, it gets shorter, which means you're getting less sleep and you're not getting as deep of a sleep as you are when you're getting younger. But that's okay, and we understand that, and we still get, as adults, you still get good sleep. It's just you need less, you just get less of it, and you can still function throughout the day. So these are some ages where infants get 18 to 20 hours, and you can see that they need that for all optimal growth. Then when you're children, elementary school, early middle school, 12 to 14 hours. Teenagers, when you hit your teenage years, 8 to 9 hours, like we said. Adults, we should still be getting 8 hours of sleep. And then you get up into the older ages, 7 hours or so, a little bit less than 7. So you can see how the discrepancy from being an infant getting 18 to 20 hours of sleep, over 75% of the day is they're going to be sleeping, to less than a third of the day for older people. This is what could happen when you lose sleep: depression, problems with focusing and paying attention, and you know that coming into class. If you can't focus or pay attention, more than likely, or you're having trouble learning something, more than likely something could be happening with your sleep. Increased risk of illness because your body is not growing and it's not fixing itself and fixing the immune system, and increased risk of motor vehicle crashes, driving behind the wheel. We talked about this, we hit on these things. So some good sleep habits is go to bed and wake up at the same time each day, even on the weekends. Like, I know Saturdays and Sundays are good days to sleep in, and when we have days off, they're good days to sleep in and they feel good. But if you have a routine and stick to it, you're going to be good, start getting good sleep habits. Avoid bright lights at night, including computers, TVs in the room. Okay. After waking, though, you can expose yourself to bright lights like natural sunlight or like lights. As soon as you wake up, turn a light on, because it's going to wake you up and it's going to start that circadian rhythm, or keep it going, saying like it's time to wake up now, and it'll be time to go to sleep when it's dark. Avoid caffeine and sugary foods after noon. So when it's starting to get later in the day and you're thinking about going to sleep, don't have that ice cream, don't drink that coffee, don't have that pop. Have a light snack before you go to sleep. Exercise regularly, but don't do it before bedtime. We talked about that. The body can take 2 to 3 hours to actually get down to a normal heart rate before bedtime if you exercise. Never fall asleep with the television on or any stimulants on, because it's just going to disrupt your sleep patterns. Avoid all-nighters, which can disrupt your sleep patterns. It can set your rhythms off, and it takes you a couple days to get back on track. If you nap, do not let your naps interfere with your regular sleeping patterns. You take a nap if you need it, if you're tired, but wake up and then go back to sleep when it's time to go back to sleep. Don't think that a nap is a trade-off for being able to go to bed later on in that same day. If you can't fall asleep, get up and do something relaxing until you feel tired. But actually get up out of bed and do it, because if you turn on a light and start reading in bed, it's just a stimuli that you don't need. So get up and do something relaxing. Maybe go for like a little walk around the house. Maybe do a little light reading somewhere. Do something that's very relaxing to you. Take some deep breaths and try to go right back to sleep. So that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about the stages of sleep and dreaming, and hopefully we got some good tips on how to stay healthy and how to stay asleep throughout the night. Until next time, we'll see you later. Thanks for listening.